Principle 1. The legitimacy of a son is defined by accountability. Hebrews 13 verse 17. Obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls, as they that must give account, that they may do it with joy, and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you. True sonship is proven by accountability. A legitimate son doesn't just claim relationship, he submits to oversight. Hebrews 13 verse 17 makes it clear, spiritual fathers watch for your souls, and sons must obey and submit, not just when it's convenient, but consistently and humbly. Accountability means being teachable, transparent, and trustworthy. Sons don't vanish when things are tough, they report, they align, and they adjust. Their consistency builds trust. Paul could entrust Timothy with great responsibility because he was accountable. He didn't just serve Paul, he carried Paul's values. In contrast, those who resist correction and avoid alignment are gifted orphans, not sons. You can't inherit a mantle if you're not submitted to the man. Accountability is the bridge to spiritual inheritance. A true son sees feedback as formation, not insult. He seeks correction, not applause. His life is open to scrutiny, because he values spiritual growth more than personal pride. Accountability is not bondage, it is protection. It is proof of sonship. If you are not accountable, you are not legitimate in the house. Principle 2. You are not a son if you do not carry your father's burden. Philippians 2 verses 20 to 21. For I have no man like-minded, who will naturally care for your state. For all seek their own, not the things which are Jesus Christ's. True sons don't just walk beside their fathers, they walk with their burdens. In Philippians 2 verses 20 to 21, Paul laments that few shared his genuine concern for the people. Many were present, but only Timothy carried the same heart. That is sonship, when your father's burden becomes your personal assignment. A son doesn't wait to be told what matters, he discerns it. He listens not just to instructions but to the silent weight his father carries. The things that grieve, stir, or drive the father become sacred to the son. Carrying the father's burden means loving what he loves, fighting what he fights, and serving with the same passion. Elisha followed Elijah not for recognition, but because he wanted to preserve and multiply his father's mission. He didn't ask for things, he asked for the spirit behind the work. Many want their father's mantle but not his tears. True sons serve in the shadows and intercede in secret. They don't compete, they complete. They don't just echo the vision, they embody it. If you don't carry your father's burden, you are not aligned, you are just around. Sons carry weight, not just titles. Principle 3. You are not a son until you can defend your father. Proverbs 17 verse 9. He that covereth a transgression seeketh love, but he that repeateth a matter separateth very friends. Sonship is tested in conflict. You are not a true son until you are willing to defend your father. Proverbs 17 verse 9 teaches that love covers, not exposes. This doesn't mean justifying sin, it means preserving dignity and covenant. Sons protect the honor of their fathers, especially when others criticize or misunderstand them. They do not gossip or remain neutral. They confront dishonor and correct slander. Ham exposed Noah's weakness and was cursed, but Shem and Japheth covered their father respectfully and were blessed. A son doesn't need a public instruction to defend the father. He does it instinctively. Jesus modeled this, he always glorified the Father, never detaching himself from his source, even when it brought him opposition. In today's culture of cancellation, true sons are rare. Many walk away in moments of controversy. But a son stays. He doesn't exploit the father's humanity, he intercedes for it. Defending your father is not idolatry, it's loyalty. It's not blind allegiance, it's covenantal honor. Even correction, when needed, is given in private with tears, not in public with pride. You are not a son until you can say, "That's my father, and I will stand with him." Principle 4. You are not a son if you do not love your father's friends. John 15 verse 15. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth, but I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. Sonship isn't only vertical, it's relational. You cannot claim to love your father while dishonoring those he calls friends. In John 15 verse 15, Jesus affirms that friendship is a mark of trust and shared purpose. If your father honors certain people as friends, then a son must do the same. To despise your father's friends is to disrespect his discernment. You're not just attacking personalities, you're wounding legacy. Sons align with the relational flow of their father's life. David honored Jonathan, and even after Jonathan's death, he showed kindness to Mephibosheth for Jonathan's sake. That's sonship. It values covenant connections. Some sons think honoring the father gives them the right to critique his circle. But if you can't honor who he honors, you're not aligned in heart. A son cannot divide what God has joined. Loving your father's friends means respecting their place, defending their value, and refusing to sow discord. You don't need to understand every connection to honor it. True sons don't create factions, they preserve unity. You can't walk fully in your father's grace while fighting his friends. Honor flows where unity abides. Principle 5. Honor is the currency of access in the father-son relationship. 1 Samuel 2 verse 30, Therefore the Lord, the God of Israel, declares, I promised that your house and your father's house would minister before me forever. But now the Lord declares, Far be it from me. Those who honor me I will honor, but those who despise me will be disdained. Honor is the currency that grants access in the father-son relationship. It is not merely an act of respect, but a key that opens the door to deeper intimacy and favor with the Father. When a son honors his father, he aligns himself with the divine order, and in turn, he receives the blessings and inheritance that come with it. The scripture in 1 Samuel reveals that those who honor the Father are honored in return. This principle is vital in the father-son dynamic. The father's role is to give and guide, while the son's role is to honor and receive. Honor is the pathway to wisdom, guidance, and favor. It is through honoring our fathers, both earthly and heavenly, that we position ourselves to access the fullness of their wisdom and inheritance. A son who dishonors risks cutting himself off from the very blessings meant for him. Thus, honor is essential, for it opens the channels of grace and favor, allowing a son to receive the full measure of the father's intentions. Principle 6. Sonship requires dying to ambition and embracing alignment. Matthew 16 verse 24, Then Jesus said to his disciples, Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. Sonship is not just about receiving a title or position, it requires a transformation of the heart. Dying to personal ambition and self-driven desires is essential for aligning oneself with the Father's will. In the world, ambition is often seen as a driving force for success, but in the kingdom of God, true sonship calls for a surrender of those personal pursuits to embrace the Father's plan. Jesus, in Matthew 16 verse 24, teaches that discipleship, true sonship, is marked by self-denial, taking up one's cross, and following him. This means letting go of self-centered ambitions in favor of fulfilling the greater purpose that the Father has ordained. To be a son, one must learn to align their desires with the Father's. This is not about the suppression of dreams or aspirations, but about redirecting them toward God's higher calling. Sons do not chase their own visions but live in the alignment of the Father's purpose for their lives. It requires trust, surrender, and a willingness to sacrifice personal glory for the fulfillment of God's eternal purpose. True sonship leads to the fullness of the Father's inheritance, which can only be accessed when ambition is replaced with alignment. Principle 7. Sons build the house, they don't just visit. Hebrews 3 verse 6, but Christ is faithful as the Son over God's house. And we are his house, if we hold on to our courage in the hope of which we boast. In the father-son relationship, sonship is not about occasional visits or temporary roles. It is about building and establishing the legacy of the Father. Sons are entrusted with the responsibility of continuing the work their fathers began. They don't simply benefit from the legacy, they contribute to it, strengthen it, and ensure its continuity. Hebrews 3 verse 6 highlights the role of Christ as the faithful Son over God's house. Just as Christ builds and preserves the Father's house, so too are sons called to build the house they are part of. Building the house involves more than just physical construction. It means nurturing relationships, establishing foundations of faith, and ensuring that the work of the Father endures beyond their own time. Sons are active participants in the family and in the kingdom, and they carry the mandate to strengthen and expand what has been handed to them. They are not passive observers, they are builders who shape the future. A son who only visits the house does not understand its value or purpose. It is those who stay, who invest, and who labor to build that truly inherit the fullness of the Father's work. Sonship is a commitment to establishing and growing the Father's house, not just to enjoy its benefits. Principle 8. A son multiplies his father's vision, not his own. John 5 verse 19, Jesus gave them this answer, "Very truly I tell you, the Son can do nothing by himself, he can do only what he sees his Father doing, because whatever the Father does the Son also does." A true son does not pursue his own vision but becomes a vessel through which the Father's vision is multiplied. In the father-son relationship, the son is called to carry and expand the purpose and plans of the Father, not to establish his own. In John 5 verse 19, Jesus exemplifies this by stating that he only does what he sees the Father doing. This reflects the essence of sonship, to align oneself fully with the Father's work and to faithfully continue and multiply it. Sonship requires a deep understanding that the Father's vision is the one that needs to be fulfilled, not personal ambitions or desires. A son's success is not measured by how much he can achieve independently but by how faithfully he can carry out and expand the work entrusted to him by the Father. The Father's vision, when embraced by the Son, creates a legacy that continues to grow and reach further generations. In multiplying the Father's vision, the Son takes on the mantle of responsibility, ensuring that the work of the Father does not end with him but continues to spread and flourish. This selfless commitment to the Father's purpose is the hallmark of true sonship. Principle 9. A son must value inheritance. Proverbs 13 verse 22. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. True sons value what has been passed down, spiritual, moral, and prophetic legacies. Inheritance is not merely about possessions, it is about mantles, revelations, and responsibilities. To despise inheritance is to despise lineage and legacy. Esau lost his birthright because he treated it as common. Every inheritance carries a story of sacrifice. What your father fought for must not be abandoned, it must be guarded, multiplied, and preserved. Elisha received Elijah's mantle because he esteemed it. Joseph protected Jacob's legacy in Egypt. When a son honors inheritance, he positions himself to receive more. God entrusts enduring blessings to those who respect generational continuity. Ask yourself, am I a custodian of what came before, or am I carelessly discarding it? Principle 10. A son must submit to the father's correction. Hebrews 12 verse 6. For whom the Lord loves he chastens, and scourges every son whom he receives. Correction is not a curse, it is the proof of sonship. The unwillingness to be corrected reveals a heart that is not yet yielded. Rebellion resists discipline, sonship embraces it. Correction refines, molds, and prepares. David became a man after God's heart not because he was flawless, but because he responded rightly to correction. A father corrects not to destroy but to shape destiny. Correction creates sons who can carry weight without breaking. Those who reject it remain spiritually immature, easily offended and unstable. True sons say, "Teach me, rebuke me, refine me." They value alignment more than applause. Ask yourself, is my heart teachable, or is my pride keeping me from maturity?